He was recognized as one of the Mail and Guardian's top 200 young South Africans. And if you've forgotten all of that, and you think you don't need to make notes, get your pen, your paper, or your tablets ready, because he is also been recognized as one of the top 100 brightest young minds. The top 100 brightest young minds. Would you want to listen to someone with that sort of accolade? Okay, it's my time to go. MJ Khan, thank you. There you are. Enjoy.
Cool. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, welcome, and thank you for coming through to the Accidental Muslims. I've got a timer in front, I've got a smile on my face, and we're going to get ready to go. Those in the back, how are you? Those in the front? Alhamdulillah. And I thought today we'd talk about the fiqh of righteous sharing. And that's a nice way to really set the mood, to sort of set the tone, and perhaps up front, all of us, we can then say, this is how we're going to take the day forward. So a couple of weeks ago, I was watching Pulp Fiction again. And I know it seems odd that I'm standing on the stage and I'm talking about Pulp Fiction, a 1994 movie which is not for everyone. But anyway, I'm a complicated being. I want to go for Hajj, I want to go for WrestleMania, and I think all of us are complex beings like that, right? So I was watching this movie, and there's a quote in the movie. So let me just set the scene for those who haven't watched it. Imagine that these two gentlemen here work in supply chain, and their employer asked them to go speak to an independent contractor because there was a dispute. And as they're negotiating, the gentleman over here with the briefcase, he looked at the man and he said, "Do you read the Bible?" And he said, "There's a quote in the Bible that really resonates with me, something I like. So let me just repeat that. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men." And he attributed that to Ezekiel 25:17, book 25, verse 17. And I've heard this verse many, many times. It's perhaps the most popular verse in the entire movie. And when I watched it last week, 2 weeks ago, I've got a King James Bible at home. So I took out my King James Bible and I had a look. And this verse wasn't in the Bible. In fact, there was a verse in the Bible later on, but this particular verse wasn't in the Bible. And it made me think. So for example, to what extent are we more likely to share something if it reinforces our beliefs? To what extent are we more likely to retweet something if it confirms our own biases? And we know this to be true. If you think about our WhatsApp groups and the things we get forwarded, especially my uncle loves to forward me stuff, and because it might sound like something that we sort of believe in, we don't check it, we don't verify it. So if he sent me something and he said, "Listen, at the Academy Awards, every single actor took the Shahada," I'd look at it and I'd be like, yeah, no, that didn't happen. But there's other things he'd share, and without verifying it, purely because it sort of resonated, it sort of made sense, we tend to drop our guard. We tend not to be critical. So that's something I think we need to address. So let's talk about 3 principles for today with regards to righteous sharing. And I'm going to take inspiration from Hadith. So the first principle, and this is something that I think should resonate with all of us: he who believes in Allah and the last day must either speak good or remain silent. Think of how that could relate to social media. An example, last night a famous DJ, Avicii, passed away at 28. It was quite shocking. And a lot of people then shared that on social media, and ridiculous comments as well, stuff that really embarrasses you. Someone said, "I think he's going to be playing DJ decks in Jahannam." And I was like, why? Speak good or remain silent. I think that's something that we can definitely think about and reflect on. If you have nothing good to say, remain silent. The next one, and I love this one. So a man approached Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he asked him, he said, "Advise me." And the Prophet responded, "Do not become angry." And then he asked again, he repeated it several times, "Advise me." And the Prophet said, "Do not become angry." There's no caveats there. There's no exceptions. There's no buts. It's simple. Do not become angry. How often are we triggered by things that we see online that we instantly want to respond to emotionally? We want to go, we want to tackle it, we want to respond with perhaps so much vigor. Just imagine if we just took a step back and we said, "Do not become angry." consider it. Chill, hold. That's something quite powerful. Before I go to the final slide, which is the last hadith for today, I'd like to highlight privilege. I think over here we can perhaps agree on two things. We have privilege with regards to at least two things. Number one, we all have the privilege of being here in attendance. We have the privilege of being here. We're not somewhere else having to work or something like that. That is one privilege we can all agree on. We are all here, we are all present. The second privilege we have in this room is that we all know where our next meal is going to come from, specifically in the back there when they serve lunch. But those are two of our privileges. Let's talk about a third privilege that we have here.
Okay.
And for this one, this is from the last sermon. Let those who are present convey to those who are absent. For perhaps the one to whom it is conveyed will understand it better than the one who heard it. So we have the power to share. We hear in our numbers, but there are millions out there who can grasp onto the message, who might hear something from today that then takes flight, changes their heart, or does something to inspire them. So we do have that power. We have that power to share, we have that power to inspire, and we have that power to be positive change agents. And with that, let's not forget, hashtag accidental Muslims. We have unity in what we do, and we have unity in hashtags. We're trying to get this obviously out there, share that message. And I hope with those three things that we will have an inspiring day. Shukran, jazakallah, assalamu alaikum.